maybe I don't know if you can change your background.
لا انا راح اعلي الاضاءه بس نبلش بس يبلش الاشي، بس عشان بديش تفضل بطاريات تاعت اللابتوب والتليفون.
الله ينور عليك.
هيكون هيك شكلي. يكون هيك، بس انا وطيت الاضاءه خفت يفضل شحن اللابتوب.
طب اسمعي، اذا بدك كمان قيمي الكاميرا هلا شيليها
بالضبط
علشان تو سيف.
اوكي.
MK, I think. Good afternoon. This is Edouard. I am the regional director for UNICEF. I think I will come intervene for the conclusion, but just to say hi to all of you. But I'm not sure you see me. Yeah, now you see me.
Yes, we can see you now.
Thank you. Thank you for organizing all this, because now during my conclusion, we'll discuss more about I will do my remarks, but thank you very much for the collaborative work between the different agencies on this. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate all of your valuable time. So we know how squeezed your agenda is, so we really appreciate also your time joining us.
Shukran.
Sorry, excuse me, guys. How do I make the background? I think that I'm not on Zoom.
عماد log out لما تطلع. اوكي، رد ارجع على الزوم. لما ترجع في إشي بيكون قبل ما تدخل وتعمل انتر، في إشي اسمه باك جراوند. الباك جراوند اذا عملت لها داونلود من ايميل امنيه اوكي بتقدر تختارها كصوره وبتقدر تحطها كباك جراوند.
اوكي.
Yes, thank you, MK. I think you can keep it for now. Yes, keep it. Welcome to our partners who are joining us now. We're going to start in 5 minutes.
But like everybody is in the waiting room, right? We did not let them in.
Yes, exactly. We're going to let them in on time.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
How is the registration? But I know how many people have registered for the event, because you showed latest number was 160, right?
No, till yesterday there was 400 plus.
ممتاز, alhamdulillah. That's great.
And I just sent a reminder, if you already shared with your focal points, feel free to share reminders as well.
Let's manage it. So let me close it. I will join after 2-3 minutes. Okay.
Hi, Fawzia. Thank you for joining us. فوزية, can you hear me?
مرحبا أمنية. سمعان.
Hi. Hi.
مرحبا كل الشباب بثينة.
Fawzia, do you want to do a quick test for your screen as well?
أفتح الشاشة الكاميرا.
Yes.
طيب.
Okay, perfect. فوزية, ممكن تغيري الباك جراوند اللي احنا بعتناها في الإيميل؟ بعمل لك حالا فورورد ليه دلوقتي. هبعت لك الإيميل, هتلاقي الباك جراوند, اعملي لها داونلود واخرجي من الميتنج, وقبل وريجوين تاني. وانتي بتريجوين هتلاقي علامة المايك وعلامة الكاميرا وجنبيها باك جراوند. اتكي عليها واختاري بلس واختاري الصورة اللي انتي عملت لها داونلود. هعمل لك دلوقتي حالا فورورد للإيميل.
أمنية احنا لازم كلنا نحط نفس الباك جراوند لأنه أنا ما كنتش حطاها هي.
يا ريت يا دينا, يا
طب
ريت.
بعتي لي إياها أو بعتيها على الجروب بحيث إنها تصير عند الكل وخلاص. خليني
يلا
أعملها داونلود.
يلا هبعتها لك انتي وفوزية دلوقتي على الإيميل.
تمام, أوكي.
دينا وفوزية done. تمام, أنا كده بعتها لكم, وهبعت لكم فويس نوت على الواتساب ازاي تغيروها بسرعة عشان we gonna start in 1 minute.
دينا وفوزية أنا بعت لكم إياها كمان على الواتساب, يمكن أسهل كمان. أمنية, I think لازم نبلش. We should start now.
تمام هيك صح؟
مرحبا جميعاً. إحنا رح نبدأ كمان دقيقة, ولكن إذا بتحبوا تسمعوا للترجمة باللغة العربية أو الإنجليزية أو الفرنسية, فخاصية الترجمة متوفرة. تقدروا تكبسوا على الدائرة اللي فيها 3 نقاط وتحطوا interpretation وتختاروا اللغة اللي بتناسبكم, سواء عربي, إنجليزي أو فرنسي. Hello everyone, we will start our event for today. However, we would like to announce that we have interpretation available whether you are in Arabic or English or French speaking. Live translation will be available. So you can turn it by clicking the interpretation icon at the bottom of your screen. وهلأ ممكن أعرف عن نفسي. أنا اسمي بثينة قمر, المستشارة الإقليمية للمكتب الإقليمي لصندوق الأمم المتحدة للسكان للشباب واليافعين في المنطقة العربية, وإحنا كتير سعيدين بحضوركم معنا بهذا اليوم. وأنا عم بحضر مع الشباب والصبايا والشركاء. استحضرتني قصيدة للشاعر الفلسطيني الراحل محمود درويش, أثر الفراشة لا يرى, أثر الفراشة لا يزول. اليوم نتجمع لنسلط الضوء على تجارب شبابية بأصعب الأماكن وبأقصى الظروف, يمكن ما عم نشوفها بالنشرات الإخبار أو ببوستات وسائل التواصل الاجتماعي, ولكن هي إلها الأثر الكبير. يسعدني أن أقدم الناشطة سلمى إسماعيل من الصومال واللي رح تقوم بتيسير وإدارة الجلسة اليوم.
Thank you, Bethania. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may be joining us from today. It's an honor to welcome you to this year's commemoration of International Youth Day 2025 under a theme that could not be more timely or more necessary. Local youth actions for the SDGs and beyond. Today is more than just a date on the calendar. It's a moment to pause and recognize the work already being done by young people in some of the hardest hit places in our region. The Arab world has never been younger than it is today, and at the same time, so many of our countries are facing long, complex crises. From Palestine to Sudan, from Somalia to Syria and Yemen, the challenges are immense, but so is the strength and creativity of our youth. This year also marks a decade since the Youth, Peace and Security Agenda was first established. That matters because when we talk about localization, we also need to ask, what does peace look like when it's led by youth? What does security feel like when it's built from the ground up? What does it mean for a young person to not just be included, but to lead? Today is more than a celebration. It's a space for us to reflect, to learn from each other, to be inspired and youth speakers that will share their experiences and regional directors from UNFPA, UNICEF, OCHA, ActionAid, NRC, and Scouts, in addition to CARES Relief. And with that, I'm very pleased to introduce the welcoming remarks from the Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs, Mr. Felipe Boulier. Thank you.
Dear friends, young leaders and partners, today I speak to you not from a stage, but with a deep sense of urgency and respect. On this International Youth Day, we are not just talking about youth in humanitarian work. We are seeing it every day. In places affected by crisis and conflict, young people are not waiting. They are helping others. They are leading efforts. They are bringing hope and holding communities together. They are not just the future, they are already on the front lines. The truth is that we, in the international system, are still trying to catch up. Youth-led work is often underfunded and overlooked. But young people keep showing up. They keep doing the hard work. Imagine what more could be done if they had real support. In many parts of the Arab region, a large number of young people are living through conflict. This isn't just a statistic. This is a call to do better. We must support young people as they deal with the impact of crisis on their education, on their safety, on their health, and their future. That's why we must stop working in silos. For young people, crisis doesn't come in pieces. So our responses must also be connected, bringing together humanitarian help, long-term development support, and peace-building efforts. At the United Nations, through the United Nations system-wide strategy, Youth 2030, we are focused on turning words into action. We're focused on making sure that young people are included and supported in real ways. This year, the theme of the International Youth Day reminds us that change starts in communities. And young people are already driving that change, even in the hardest conditions. So I want to thank all the partners who made this event possible and who helped lift up youth voices in crisis settings. This 2025 also marks 10 years since the United Nations adopted the Youth, Peace and Security Agenda at the Security Council. But in many places, its promises are still not a reality. This is a call for reflection and especially for action. We need to change the status quo, and this change will come through investment and through real inclusion. To all young humanitarians, your courage is seen. Your leadership matters, and your voice should shape the decisions that affect your lives. And to our partners, let's not meet young people halfway. Let's go all the way with trust, with support, and with real investment. So thank you and happy International Youth Day.
Thank you. Now that we have heard those welcoming remarks and reflections, let's pause for a short video from UNFPA that brings together some of the themes to life on the ground. Amnaya.
تعرفوا على جيل زد. كانت لديهم خطط للمستقبل.
كنت أتمنى أكون إعلامي عالمي.
كنت دائما أحكي إني بدي أصير يا إما مصممة أزياء أو رسام.
كانت لديهم آمال وأحلام. أنتم تعرفون كيف هو جيل زد.
كنت أحلم بحياة مستقرة وأعيش بكرامة.
إلا أن الحياة أتت بما لا تشتهي السفن.
خلقت ضمن تحديات كتير كبيرة.
من وأنا صغيرة تربيت في مجتمع كله حروب.
وقت خسرنا بيتنا حسيت كل شيء عم ينهار.
وها هم لا يفعلون شيئا مفيدا.
عفوا
ينتظرون أن يأتي أحدهم
هل تدركوا أننا نسمع؟
انسى.
كانت لدينا كل الأسباب للاستسلام. واجهنا كل أنواع التحديات. لكننا لم نتوقف.
بشتغل في المستشفى حاليا في الحرب، بكون في الخط الأول عند أي عملية استهداف.
فأنا متطوعة على الخط الوطني للدعم النفسي والوقاية من الانتحار.
أنا اليوم أشتغل في المجتمع عشان المجتمع.
اليوم بطل وقت الحكي، صار وقت الفعل.
نحن لا نتوقف عن العطاء.
نعمل معا، لكننا بحاجة إلى دعمكم.
I love that the video captured the spirits of Gen Z in action, as they're already leading change from the front lines across the Arab region, showing us every day what courage, innovation, and solidarity look like in real time. Now, to walk us through the Compact for Young People in Humanitarian Action and the newly released Arabic translation of the IASC guidelines, were UNFPA Azra and Khushbat Hoyi from UNICEF MENA Regional Office. Over to you, Buthayna and Khushbat.
شكرا كثير سلمى. مش رح نطول عليكم، بس حابين نحكي لكم احنا اليوم متواجدين ضمن نطاق التزام من مؤسساتنا، من المجموعات الشبابية، من مختلف الفاعلين بميثاق الشباب في العمل الإنساني، واللي بيضم أكثر من 70 مؤسسة ومنظمة عالمية تسعى جميعها لتحسين حياة الشباب اللي بيواجهوا الأوضاع الإنسانية الطارئة والعمل معهم ومن أجلهم. فبيعمل الميثاق على 5 محاور مثل ما أنتم شايفين على الشاشة. المحور الأول تقديم الخدمات، الثاني المشاركة، الثالث القدرات والعمل المحلي، الرابع المشاركة، والخامس البيانات والمعرفة. وعشان يترجم هذا الالتزام وهذا الإطار رح أنتقل لزميلي خوش من منظمة المكتب الإقليمي لليونيسف ليستعرض المبادئ التوجيهية والموارد اللي موجودة. خوش please, the floor is yours.
The interagency committee guidelines, standing committee guidelines, that in short we call EASC guidelines, with and for young people in humanitarian protracted crisis, were developed by several like-minded organizations who are part of the compact, with the main aim of supporting meaningful work with and for young people. And today we are pleased to share with you that the Arabic translation of the IASC guidelines, in addition to the English and French version that we had so far, and its training package was completed and is available for use. This translation will expand the reach and use of these guidelines in supporting the work with young people to all 110 million young people, aspiring young people that we have in Arabic-speaking countries in the region. Back over to you.
Thank you very much, Salma. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Khushwat, and for highlighting how these resources can truly empower young people, especially in crisis settings. We now move into our next segment of this conversation that brings us directly to the heart of today's agenda, the lived experiences of young people responding to crisis in their communities. This panel, Young Voices from the Field, brings together youth leaders from Palestine, Lebanon, Sudan, Yemen, and Egypt, all of whom have been actively involved in emergency response on the ground. Young people bring speed, creativity, and deep-rooted community trust to crisis settings, and their role deserves greater recognition, greater support, and meaningful investment. Let's begin by warmly welcoming our first speaker, Dina Al-Qlul from Palestine. Dina serves as the focal point for YBIR Palestine and brings invaluable insights from her leadership role in youth engagement during the humanitarian response in Gaza. She will be sharing key learnings from that experience and presenting highlights from the UNFPA Palestine Youth in Emergencies case study. Over to you, Dina.
Thank you. ما يصنعه الشباب في الميدان خلال الأزمات يفوق ما يمكن اختصاره في 3 دقائق. مرحبا، أنا دينا العكلوك من شمال قطاع غزة. عمري 5 حروب. عرفت النزوح والجوع والذل والخسارة، لكني اخترت إني أكون متطوعة مش متفرجة. وأنا اليوم موجودة معكم كمنسق وطني لشبكة تثقيف الأقران YBIR في فلسطين بدعم من UNFPA. من بداية حرب أكتوبر 2023 مع بداية النزوح، أول درس تعلمناه ما فيش حدا بيساندك وقت الشدة غير حالك. هاي الجملة ما اجتش من فراغ، بل اجت من واقع تجربة. خلال عدوان 2024 وجدنا أنفسنا نعمل بدون حماية، بدون دعم، وبدون وسائل نقل. ورغم التهديدات اللي تعرضنا لإلها، إلا إنه استمرينا بالعمل. أدركنا إنه الدعم الحقيقي بيأتي من داخلنا، من روح YBIR، بإصرارنا وبتدريباتنا السابقة. اتعلمت من هاي التجربة القيادة عن بعد، اتخاذ القرارات بسرعة، الاستمرار رغم التعب النفسي والجسدي. واليوم أنا جاية أحكي باسم آلاف الشباب الفلسطيني اللي استمروا بالعمل رغم غياب الحماية والدعم. شباب بيشبهوا طائر العنقاء، بيولدوا من الرماد. اجتنا نداءات كتير، شافونا زي النور بوسط الظلام. وبدعم من UNFPA تحولت شبكتنا لقوة شبابية إنسانية فعالة. وزعنا قرابة 10,000 طرد صحي، معظمها في غزة، في ظل غياب مواد النظافة الشخصية، و20 طن من الطرود الغذائية في جنين بعد الحصار استفادت منها 1500 عائلة. وأقمنا أكثر من 100 ورشة توعوية حول مواضيع الصحة النفسية والجسدية والنظافة الشخصية. وصلنا لما يقارب 15,000 شاب وشابة ويافع ويافعة. بإمكانكم تعرفوا أكثر عن الجهود الشبابية في غزة وفلسطين من خلال التوثيق اللي قام فيه صندوق الأمم المتحدة للسكان، واللي راح يتم إضافته خلال الشات. في مبادرة لتوفير نظارات للأطفال، التقيت بطفلة اسمها سما، الناجية الوحيدة من عائلتها اللي قتلها الاحتلال. سما اختارت نظارة لونها موف لامع، بعدها اجت حضنتني وحكت لي شكرا. هنا هذا الموقف المؤثر علمني إنه وجودنا فيه له أهمية، وإنه إحنا لازم نكمل. وأكيد في زي هذا اليوم بقدرش أنسى زميلي محمد صهيون اللي استشهد قبل بيومين من تنفيذ مبادرة كنا بنخطط لإلها سوا. رجعت لكلام بيننا، لقيته بيقول لي دايما دينا أختي الجدعة، بركن عليها. فقدانه كان صعب، بالذات التوقيت اللي فقدناه فيه، ولكنه منحني دافع للاستمرار. ما فيش حماية للعاملين في المجال الإنساني، خاصة المتطوعين الشباب. كتير في منهم خسروا حياتهم بس أنهم بيحاولوا يصنعوا فرق. ما فيش حد بتذكرهم، لهيك بحكي لكم بكل وضوح، وفروا لهم الحماية واحكوا قصصهم، هم بيستحقوا هذا الإشي. إحنا مش أبطال خارقين زي ما بتحكوا عنا، إحنا على وشك الانهيار، هاي حقيقة وللأسف لازم تتقبلوها وتشتغلوا عليها. توصياتنا لإلكم، ضلكم احكوا قصصنا ووصلوا صوتنا. إحنا بحاجة إنه نشحن طاقاتنا، مش رح نقدر نضل نعطي بدون ما ناخد، إحنا برضو بشر. لهيك دعم الشباب في غزة شيء أساسي ومش على الهامش. المطلب الأساسي هو تعزيز نظم الحماية والاعتراف بجهودنا وتعزيز مشاركتنا في صنع القرارات. أنا محظوظة لأني قدرت أكون معكم اليوم وقدرت أشارك قصتي وتجربتي الصعبة، لكن ما تنسوش إنه في كتير شباب زيي ولكن مش صوتهم مش مسموع وغير مقدرين. لهيك أنا بحكي لكم إحنا بحاجة إنكم تسمعوا صوتنا، تدعمونا، توقفوا معنا، ضلكم احكوا قصصنا. شكرا كتير.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you for sharing your powerful story with us today. Your strength, sabr, and service in the face of hardship are truly inspiring. We also remember your colleague, Mohammed Zayhoun, from may Allah have mercy on him and accept his efforts as Sadaqa Jariyah. His spirit lives on in the work he continues to do. Let's all collectively honor their courage by making sure their message doesn't end here today, but it moves us all to do more, to speak up, and to stand alongside them in meaningful ways. And now, building on that spirit of youth leadership, I'm pleased to introduce our next speaker, Sumaira Hamouda from Lebanon. Sumaira is a member of the Youth Advisory Group, and she will share reflections drawn from the UNICEF Youth in Emergencies case study, sharing insights on how youth involvement shapes emergency response efforts from her perspective within Lebanon. Over to you, Sumaira.
Hello, everyone. It's Sumaira Ahmouda, a youth advisory group member, UNICEF from Lebanon. In the face of crisis, we often look to institutions for answers. But in Lebanon, a country shaken by economic collapse, the Beirut port explosion, and escalating armed conflict, the most powerful response came from its youth. When armed conflict escalated in late 2023, over 1.2 million people were displaced in just 24 hours. Roads were jammed, shelters overflowed, and families fled with nothing. But thanks to UNICEF's long-term investment in emergency preparedness and youth programming, the response was swift, coordinated, and community-led. UNICEF had already mapped shelters, trained youth in emergency protocols, and built local supply chains. Through the Nahnu Volunteers platform, thousands of young people were already engaged in civic action. When the crisis hit, over 5,500 youth were mobilized within days. Lebanon's youth didn't wait for the instructions. They took ownership. They restored 50 shelters, produced 16,000 winter kits, 7,300 sleeping bags, and 4,300 blankets. They cooked and distributed 170,000 hot meals to displaced families and frontline workers. Through Nahnu, they contributed 36,000 hours of service, reaching more than 100,000 people. But their impact went beyond logistics. Youth-led hygiene awareness campaigns, youth in overcrowded shelters, created safe spaces through sport and art, and helped bridge divisions between host and displaced communities. 1,400 adolescent girls received emergency leadership training and launched peer-led initiatives that reinforced resilience and solidarity. They also supported digital learning hubs, solarized schools, and produced relief items, all while gaining vocational skills and income to support their families. Their work wasn't just humanitarian, it was transformational. Lebanon's youth became the face of recovery, the hand of compassion, and the voice of solidarity. They showed us that when we invest in young people before a crisis, we empower entire communities to rise after it. So today, let us recognize that youth are not passive recipients of aid. They are first responders, innovators, and leaders. And UNICEF's preparedness made that possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sumaira, for that inspiring demonstration of youth leadership in action. And what we have just heard is a proof that when we invest in young people's preparedness, we also invest in community resilience. Now, moving forward, let's hear from Fawzia Al-Shayabil from Sudan. Fawzia is a passionate youth activist involved in humanitarian response efforts across Sudan. She will share her experience working on the front lines of crisis situation, highlighting the power of youth leaders in Sudan. Over to you, Fawzia.
Thank you. شكرا سلمى. أعزائي الحضور، يشرفني أن أحدثكم اليوم عن ملايين الشباب والشابات الذين سلبتهم البنادق حقهم في الحياة. خلقت الحرب في بلدي واقعا مأساويا، حيث تم الدج ب3.9 مليون شاب سوداني في النزاع العنيف، وتعرضت الفتيات والنساء لانتهاكات جسيمة، حيث استخدم الاغتصاب والعنف الجنسي كسلاح حرب، كما تم تهجير الملايين من منازلهم، حيث أصبح السودان اليوم يشهد أكبر أزمة نزوح في العالم. من خلال تطوعي مع غرف الطوارئ والمبادرات الشبابية في السودان، نواجه تحديات يومية جسيمة. أدى نقص التمويل إلى إضعاف قدرة هذه المبادرات على الاستجابة السريعة، رغم الدعم القيم الذي نتلقاه من عدد من المنظمات الدولية والوطنية. على سبيل المثال غرف الطوارئ، وهي عبارة عن مبادرات شبابية تطوعية تنسق جهود الإقاصة، كانت تدير 98 مطبخ في ولاية الخرطوم بدعم من WFP، تستهدف به 35,000 مستفيد. الآن تغلص هذا العدد إلى 17,000 مستفيد فقط، وأغلقت العديد من المطابخ داخل المخيمات التي كانت توفر الغذاء بصورة يومية. كما أطلق الشباب السوداني نداء إنساني عبر منصات التواصل للتبرع وتوفير الغذاء لمدينة الفاشر المحاصرة لأكثر من عام. وفي الوقت ذاته تعمل مبادرات شبابية أخرى مثل شباب مستشفى النو لتوفير الدواء ويسدون النقص من مواردهم الخاصة. رغم ذلك تطالبنا السلطات أن نسجل الغرف كجسم رسمي، ونحن نعلم أن هذه الخطوة ستغير من شكل التدخل. وبحسب القانون الدولي الإنساني يجب حماية المستجيبين في الخطوط الأمامية، إلا أن أطراف الصراع لا تحترم ذلك. يواجه آلاف الشباب السوداني مضايقات واتهامات بالتخابر، ويتم الذج بهم في السجون. ومع ذلك يعمل الشباب في صمت تام. هناك عدد من التدخلات الشبابية تدعو للحوار والتفاوض بصوت شبابي، وتسلط الضوء على عدم إهمال الأجندة الشبابية أثناء النزاع. دائما أتساءل رغم كل هذه المجهودات الجبارة، لماذا لا يتم الاعتراف بدور الشباب؟ ولولا الشباب لما صمدت مجتمعاتنا إلى اليوم. وأنتهز هذه الفرصة لأناشد كل الفاعلين الإقليميين والدوليين المساعدة في فك حصار كل من مدينة الفاشر وجنوب كردفان لإنقاذ الأرواح والأبرياء، وإدخال المساعدات الإنسانية والدواء عبر الإسقاط الجوي كحل عاجل. كما أدعو أيضا لإنشاء صندوق يدعم شباب السودان يعمل على تعزيز مشاركة الشباب في جهود السلام وحل النزاع والاستجابة الإنسانية في جميع أنحاء السودان. وأخيرا أدعو إلى إشراك الشباب ودمجهم في آليات التنسيق والمتابعة على المستويين الدولي والوطني. شكرا جزيلا.
Thank you, Fawzia. Thank you for sharing your powerful work with us today. And we will all take this call. We will take this as a call to act, a call to protect, to amplify, and to support Sudanese youth who are doing the impossible with almost nothing. So thank you so much for sharing that with us today. Now, please welcome. We will welcome Ahmed Abdin Subair from Egypt. Ahmed is the education supervisor at Wujud, which is a refugee-led organization representing the United Refugee Network. Ahmed will share his unique perspective rooted in refugee-led initiatives, and his insights will spotlight the critical role of refugee leadership in shaping inclusive humanitarian response. Ahmed, over to you.
Thank you, Salma. So my name is Ahmed Abdin Zubair. I am originally from Yemen and moved to Egypt in 2018 after being displaced by the war of Yemen back then. So at the time I was 17, and for a young person that's been affected by crisis, moving over was difficult at the beginning. But what actually helped me was volunteering. Volunteering gave me hope, purpose, new beginning, contribute to the community where my home is now, and also help people that have been through similar challenges as me. I started the journey of volunteering in 2016 in Yemen, and as I moved to Egypt, I continued this journey. In 2023, I joined the United Refugee Network, or the URN for short, where it is a coalition of 27 migrant and refugee-led organizations here in Egypt. We serve refugees, migrants, and the host community. So the fact that more than half of the population of of the refugee and migrants in Egypt are young people, and more than 60% of the active members in the URN coalition are young people. This indicates that youth are an essential element of any kind of response, and we play a leading role and more visibly in times of crisis. And a clear example of our response was responding to the crisis of Palestine and Sudan. As new arrivals came to Egypt, we were agile and mobilized quickly, making sure that the most vulnerable population gets access to essential needs by providing them information, legal referrals, education assistance, and psychosocial support. So our response was practical, organized, and more rooted in solidarity. So, however, and despite this inspiring leadership, young youth-led organizations and initiatives still face significant challenges. So we often struggle to access direct long-term and flexible funding, making it difficult to build sustainable programs. So most fundings come with requirements that small organizations can't always meet without investing in the youth capacities. So youth are also underrepresented in the decision-making spaces, and their contributions are often treated as informal, even when they have a real lasting impact. So youth-led organizations need more direct and flexible funding that help build their capacities and their leadership. So the goal is for youth to take ownership for the community solutions and take purpose, and one day hand it over to the next generation. So alongside this, we ask for systemic inclusion of the youth in the decision-making process as partners, not just as participants. At the end, I echo the stories and the passion of my fellow young speakers today, and I applaud them for sharing their testimonies, capability, commitment, and creativity of the young people themselves personally and for their communities. Empowered youth are not only the hope for recovery, we are the foundation of the lasting growth. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ahmed. Thank you for that powerful reflections. Your words definitely remind us that young people are creating a new path forward, often against incredible odds. And we deeply appreciate the work you and your colleagues at Wujud and United Refugee Network continue to do. And finally, we have Osama Al-Suqair from Yemen. Osama is the General Coordinator of the Yemeni Scout Association, and he brings a wealth of experience in mobilizing youth through scouting initiatives, especially during times of crisis. His perspective will shed light on how structured youth movements like scouting contribute to humanitarian response efforts in Yemen. Over to you, Osama.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تحية طيبة من اليمن، من قلب شبابها وكشافتها إلى العالم أجمع. نشارككم اليوم صوت الحركة الكشفية اليمنية التي رغم ما تمر به بلادنا من أزمات إنسانية متلاحقة منذ أكثر من 10 سنوات، لا تزال تؤمن بأن دور الشباب والكشافة هو الأمل والعمل والتغيير. الوضع الإنساني في اليمن لا يخفى على أحد، نزاعات ونزوح وانعدام الأمن الغذائي وانهيار للبنية التحتية، وكل ذلك أثر بشكل مباشر على الشباب وعلى فرصهم في الحياة الكريمة والتعليم والمشاركة. ومع هذا الواقع الصعب استمرت جمعية الكشافة والمرشدات اليمنية في أداء رسالتها التطوعية وقيادة أنشطة شبابية وتطوعية فاعلة رغم غياب أي دعم حكومي منذ أكثر من عقد، وانعداما للموارد وانعداما للاستقرار. لقد أثبت الكشافون والمرشدات في اليمن قدرتهم على العمل بكفاءة عالية، وكان لهم دورا محوريا في الاستجابة المجتمعية خلال الكوارث الطبيعية والصحية والإنسانية، حيث قاموا بتوعية المجتمعات وتوزيع المساعدات وتنفيذ حملات النظافة والمشاركة في برامج الدعم النفسي للأطفال والنازحين أيضا. نؤكد اليوم من خلال هذه الكلمة أن الكشافة في اليمن ليست فقط حركة شبابية، بل رافد إنساني فاعل يحتاج إلى الدعم والتقدير. ولذا فإننا نوجه مناشدة صادقة إلى الشركاء الدوليين والجهات المانحة جميع الداعمين للعمل الإنساني بأن يولوا اهتماما خاصا بدعم البرامج والأنشطة الكشفية في اليمن كسبيل آمن للشباب للنمو والتطور وبناء قدراتهم ضمن الظروف الاستثنائية التي تمر بها البلاد. فكل استثمار في الكشافة هو استثمار في شباب يبني السلام ويقود التغيير ويخدم مجتمعه بكل إخلاص. ختاما، نؤمن أن شباب اليمن رغم الألم لا يزالون يحملون الأمل، وأن الكشافة كانت ولا تزال النور في وسط الظلام التي تعيشه اليمن بسبب الحرب والنزاعات. وشكرا لكم، وتحيتنا من اليمن أرض الإيمان إلى كل شباب العالم في يومهم العالمي. كان معكم أسامة الصغير.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Osama. Thank you for that deeply moving message and for reminding us that even the most difficult challenges, the spirit of youth and service can shine so brightly. I want to take a moment to thank all our speakers for sharing so openly, for sharing so honestly. Your stories in Palestine, in Lebanon, in Sudan, Yemen, and Egypt are reminders of what is at stake and what's possible. We will all carry what we have heard today into the work that we do next, with even more urgency, more care, and more intention. Now, as we continue, we turn to an important moment in our agenda, reflections from the regional directors of the 6 organizing agencies behind this gathering: UNFPA, UNICEF, OCHA, NRC, ActionAid, and the Scouts, as well as Case Relief. These organizations have stood behind youth-led efforts in meaningful ways, and today we will hear their perspectives on why that matters. To begin, I'm pleased to welcome our first speaker, UNFPA Azra Regional Director, OIC Mr. Dominic Allen, to share his reflections. Dominic, over to you.
Thank you very much, Salma. Colleagues and friends, on behalf of Leila Baker, our UNFPA Regional Director, I want to be able to say Happy International Youth Day, but I think given the state of our dear region, seeing the atrocities and war crimes, happiness is hard to find. But really, as Salma said, after our incredible speakers, I want to wish you all a hopeful International Youth Day. A big thanks to UNICEF, OCHA, NRC, the Scouting Movement, ActionAid, and Case Relief for today, but a bigger thanks really go to Dina, Fauzia, and all of those incredible, inspiring youth speakers. To reflect, I just want to say, I hear you. We hear you. We are committed to supporting you, to working with you. And really what I want to say is we're really here to be following you in your leadership. It's precisely in these moments of profound difficulty that we witness the extraordinary resilience, courage, and leadership of youth. I cannot begin to imagine the weight carried by you, Dina, in describing your age as 5 wars old. This is a burden no young person, no person should ever have to bear. Or to Fauzia, to present to us on behalf of the millions upon millions of youth devastated in Sudan, a scale of which our brains just cannot comprehend, and you did an amazing job at presenting to us what you and the youth are doing to respond. As I stood on the scorched earth of beautiful Gaza last year with my dear colleague Amani, and stood in the middle of a youth-organized, youth-led, youth-resourced informal camp in Gaza, and witnessed what Dina presented of a humanitarian response by the youth for the most vulnerable, it was clear what we need to do. It's support, to scale, to listen, to follow youth. And in Palestine, in the case study published today, it indicates that youth-led initiatives have reached over 500,000 individuals. And UNFPA has been partnering with YPers, with emergency rooms, with these youth-led networks in Palestine, Sudan, Somalia, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, to provide these life-saving services for SRH, sexual reproductive health, and gender-based violence. And for UNFPA, we commit to continuing to strengthen the capacities of youth networks and organizations so that they can lead. They can do that direct engagement with grassroots level, recognizing that youth-led initiatives are essential. They're part of that first line responders, as we heard from the stories today. We continue to work in and work with our youth peace and security agenda, partnering with young people in peace building and conflict resolution efforts. Continue to support the youth agenda by convening these interagencies, these partners that we're so happy to be able to hear from today as well, in promoting the global compact for youth in humanitarian settings, fostering this collaboration, because we've got to do it together as one team in supporting young people. And this is an invitation that we issue for everyone to get involved. Donors, UN partners, NGOs, really everyone is welcome into this space, to join this space, to amplify the message of standing with these youth leaders that we've heard from today, to be able to respond to crisis and save lives. And that's where our message is so clear. We must include, protect, and resource young people as they lead and support and help save lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dominic. Thank you for sharing those reflections. Those were incredibly important. Next, I'm very pleased to introduce UNICEF MENA Regional Director, Mr. Edward Beijberer. Offer to you, Mr. Edward.
Thank you very much, Salma, for this introduction, and all colleagues, friends, and above all the young leaders present today for your inspiring session. Today's discussion is more than a celebration of youth leadership in humanitarian action. It's a clear reminder for me. Young people are the key actors in humanitarian response and reconstruction efforts. So definitely I wish you all a happy International Youth Day. And at the same time, I think that we should dedicate this day to all of the youth people who are working endlessly and volunteering endlessly in Sudan, in Lebanon, in all the emergency countries. I would like naturally to underline today with what is happening in Gaza, specific thoughts to all the young people who are working there, supporting endlessly the efforts under horrific situation. So I just like to take this time to remind all of us under which circumstance some of the young people are working and supporting the efforts on humanitarian response. Before being a regional director here in Amman, I was the representative in Lebanon during the last war. And often we were discussing with actually Amal and Abir, I don't know if they're with me today, about how we could get the participation of young people up front. Community youth, getting them participating to the design of our response, to the implementation of it, and getting their own feedback and so forth. And I think that this is something that we really have to continue to learn from and so on. I saw how much it could be successful when we have a young participating. And again, from the design. It was incredible to see the scout movement, the volunteers of the Red Cross and Crescent participating and making the results a reality, and to be upfront with other young people on the other side, supporting with their own community and getting the things done. So I think that this is, for me, it was really an eye-opener how you could make better work and better results with the young people, but not just as an implementer, more importantly, as part of the design. And this is what we mean by participation, by the way. I think the participation, not only for humanitarian, It's very important to bring that there from the beginning. I clearly agree, more than agree, that our region needs a humanitarian reset, and that truly includes and invests in adolescents and youth. Youth people make up about 50% of the population in the region. Therefore, they're a big partner for UNICEF and all partners here in supporting the development of the countries and the creation of a better system in the future. We are also proud, really proud, together with UNFPA and all our partners, to launch the Arabic version of the Interagency Standing Community Guidelines, working with and for young people in humanitarian action. This is more than a translation. It's a step towards great accessibility and regional ownership of youth in the humanitarian response. I really appreciate as well the translation that you have put today in our interaction. At UNICEF, naturally, together with our partners, we will continue and expand our youth empowerment programs in MENA region and advocate for young people full inclusion in local coordination system, not symbolically, but structurally. And we continue supporting youth-led action in MENA. So really, I would like to thank you for your courage, your leadership and vision, all of you and all of the people beyond you. And as UNICEF, we are really proud to stand with you. Thank you. Shukran. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Edward. We appreciate your perspective that you have shared with us today and the perspective you definitely reflected on. Next, we have OCHA MENA Regional Office, OIC, Mr. Ozaid Al-Marwani. Ozaid, over to you.
Thank you, Salma, and thank you to the youth leaders for the inspiring words. We at OCHA are honored to participate in this celebration, emphasizing the significance of youth and humanitarian action, particularly in a region marked by multiple crises. Today presents an occasion to acknowledge our unsung heroes, the young people who served at the forefront of humanitarian and health responses. The presentations by young people have reflected their efforts across various contexts. In response to the sector's recent developments, the humanitarian reset was initiated, placing people affected by crisis at the core of response efforts. The reset also emphasizes the importance of enhancing local capacities and promoting localization. This shift provides an opportunity to amplify the role of youth and led organizations in humanitarian action, accelerate funding for youth-led organizations, and advocate for and gender data, facilitating the integration of young people's needs and insights within the humanitarian program cycle. Additionally, it is an opportunity to push for YLO inclusion and humanitarian coordination by leveraging interagency coordination groups promoting participation and inclusion, such as the accountability to affected populations and inclusion working groups within the revised coordination structures. OCHA will continuously endeavor to ensure accountable principled humanitarian action that leaves no one behind. It is imperative for our sector to collaboratively advance, achieve tangible outcomes within the existing frameworks and policies, such as the UNCRC and the Interagency Standing Committee Youth Guidelines. Youth have demonstrated their ability and willingness to contribute. Now it's our responsibility to facilitate the necessary changes for inclusive response measures across all sectors. Thank you, and over back to you, Selma.
Thank you, Zaid, and thank you for taking the time to share your thoughtful reflections with us today. Next, we have NRC Regional Director, Angelita Carrera. Angelita, over to you.
Thank you very much, and I hope you can hear me. I want to share the
celebration, I want to share my words with you today and wish you all a happy and hopeful International Youth Day. And I want to thank you so much, you inspiring youth speakers. Across the region, the Norwegian Refugee Council is working with and supporting young people in responding to crisis and building better futures for themselves. In Lebanon and Palestine, for example, NRC is collaborating with young people to deliver essential services, including psychosocial support and rehabilitating collective shelters. In 2024, NRC and our local partners assisted more than 80,000 displacement-affected young people around the world, including almost 16,000 across the Middle East and North Africa. We do this with youth services linked to livelihood opportunities, together with other opportunities. We stand at a critical juncture. Acute cuts risk an entire generation of young people's futures by denying them access to the education and livelihood opportunities they need to shape their lives and support their families and communities. It's important to hear the words of OCHA about the humanitarian reset. Unfortunately, we have a slightly more pessimistic view. At the moment, we think the humanitarian reset excludes youth, denying young people the space to meaningfully coordinate and lead humanitarian action. Youth-led organizations risk being excluded from funding entirely. In recognition of the vital role that young people play, NRC today commits to engaging displaced youth in our work in genuine collaboration in strategy, implementation, and advocacy. We also demand the meaningful inclusion and leadership of youth and youth-led organizations in coordination efforts at all levels to ensure they shape and lead our response in crisis. And we commit to resourcing, through funding and capacity building, youth-led action across the spectrum of our work, from emergency response to durable solutions approaches. As Emma reminded us, empowered youth are the foundation for lasting growth and the hope for recovery. We owe it to them, and honestly to us, to support their vital role. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Angelita. Thank you, and we appreciate the depth of your reflections and the messages you have shared. Next, we have from the World Organization of the Scout Movement, Regional Director, Dr. Hani Abdulmanan. Dr. Hani, over to you.
Thank you very much, Salma. Thank you for this introduction, and thank you everyone for all the contribution that we are doing for this really tragic situation that we are all living in the Arab region. I think our colleague Dominique was right. It's very difficult to say how happy we are with this, but we are also proud of all the efforts that the young people are doing. In the Arab region, we are more than 50% young people is the majority of the population, and that is bringing a big power for this. And that's what we also understand in the Scout movement as a youth movement and grassrooted movement. When all the Scouts is wearing their scarves, they already promised to help others in all circumstances. And what kind of circumstances can be if we are not helping in this kind of conditions? Young people in Gaza, even after under the bombarding, they are actually helping their community in setting the displaced areas and the tents, the outdoor activities, and the rehabilitation of the young people with activities, but also they are helping the community in even how to manage being in the outdoors with their skills. But also they are helping with the support of AIDS in Lebanon, and with the displaced people, in Syria, but also in Sudan. They help to organize the graveyards and for the victims of the war. So it is a really a big efforts that the young people are doing, and as an organization, not an aid or humanitarian action organization, but we are a big movement of young people. They are self-organized and also committed as active citizens to help everyone everywhere when it is needed. So we are proud of our young people everywhere, and we are still committed. And I'm sure all the young people here and also that in their places, they are committed to help even under all these pessimistic situation. But also our partnerships here are very important to make sure that we are not only bringing this aid and support in the humanitarian setting, but also we need to make sure that there is a protection of young people, not only about safeguarding and being safe from any harm or any problems, which is not that easy, but also for our young people that they are working on the ground, that they are really need to be safe so they can continue what they are doing. So being part of this region and seeing all the actions that they are being there under our partnerships or with others, it is very important that we continue doing this effort. The impact of this along the way is humongous, and I think as Compact and all the effort that the young people is doing, and we are celebrating now their efforts in the International Youth Day, it is has to be like mediated and communicated everywhere, so we can make sure that they feel that they are recognized and also we are behind them. So thank you for having me with you, and thanks for all the efforts that happening in there. And back to you, Salma.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Hani, and thank you for sharing your insights and reflections as you have brought forward important points. Next, I'm very pleased to introduce Action Aid Arab Region Director, Mr. Sudipta Kumar. Over to you, Sudipta.
Dear Mr. Sudipta, you are muted, so would you please open your mic? Thank you.
Perhaps if you remove your headset?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, I think I'm grateful that I think I got this opportunity to listen into the youth participants here, yeah, because it's a pleasure, yeah, that on this particular day we're engaging with so many youth and listening into them and we're learning from them, because this is what is Action's approach. In this region, we work in Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and Tunisia. And we work with the youth, they are our primary partners, I can say so. This is the reason our strategy is youth-led feminist action, fostering resilience, social and climate justice. So youth are at the center of all our work. And we believe that young people, as someone has already said, are not only leaders for the future, they are the leaders for today. And this is reflected in the way, I think, how the youth, particularly in Lebanon and Syria in the recent days, have taken center stage, taken leadership to do all the work that we have been able to do, at least at the excellent level. And we not only work with youth as members, but also youth-led organizations, and we learn from them. Yeah? And we have seen that in most of these emergencies and humanitarian crises, there's a youth who take leadership. So our role is to listen to them, support them, stand with them, and learn from them as they work together. We usually work and support work of youth that are organically emerging at the community level. But I would also say one more thing, that we together here, I would believe that how we can actually get the voices of the youth into the different decision-making structures in humanitarian action. It could also be ISC. Why not? I think why should we bring their voice? Why can they not be bringing in their voice? And probably there will be someone from one of my young colleagues, who will be talking about what they are doing, because I cannot really, reflect what they are doing, but we are really, really grateful to them that they have allowed us an opportunity to work with them. And in all these 4 countries that we work in, this is the reason youth are the center stage for ActionAid. They are at the center of all our work, and all our work revolves around them. Thank you very much for this opportunity to learn from you, and let's work together to make this happen, having decision making from the youth in the structure at the structural levels, so that we are not only doing representative advocacy, but they should advocate for their own cause. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rifta. And thanks again for sharing your insights and reflections. And finally, we have Rinat Al-Mahdali. Rinat works as the Humanitarian Volunteer Program Representative from KS Relief. Rinat, over to you.
Thank you, Salma. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I would like to thank you all for the invitation, and thank you for everyone who organized to celebrate this insightful event. I'll try to be short since I'm the last one. I would like also to thank the young leaders who shared their inspiring stories. We truly appreciate it, and we hear you. So in recent years, Saudi Arabia has placed its youth at the heart of global humanitarian action through King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center, which is KS Relief for short. This leading center has provided humanitarian assistance to those in need since 2015. The center has set a multifaceted trajectory for future humanitarian volunteer work, emphasizing adaptability, innovation, and the enhancement of existing efforts. KS Relief plays a crucial role in encouraging young people to take an active plan in addressing crisis situation and contributing to global resilience. Led by Saudi youth and professionals and youth in general, volunteers convoy deliver services in a wide array of humanitarian sectors, such as life-saving healthcare, transformative education, and economic empowerment. More than just an immediate aid, they train and involve local communities, equipping them with the skills to stand strong and independent in the face of future challenges, and ensure it aligns with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, investing in education, healthcare, and stability for a brighter future. I would like to just go over just a few number of statistics. KS Relief has carried out more than 3,000 humanitarian projects in over 100 countries, beneficiary countries, with a total expenditure surpassing around $8 billion. These numbers of projects include around 900 volunteer projects implemented in more than 50 countries over the past 8 years. I'm mentioning these numbers not only for an indication as a remarkable achievement. These acknowledgements, this number acknowledges solidarity, enthusiasm, and strong commitment of thousands of young volunteers, backed by the kingdom's unwavering support and inspired by the vision. Saudi youth and overall international youth today are shaping a more resilient and a compassionate world. And if you allow me, I would like to end my speech by saying, together as young leaders, let us extend our hands to every person in need and continue to build a future where every person can live with dignity, opportunity, and hope. I would like to thank everyone who shared their stories in this insightful event. We hear you, we are proud of you, and happy International Youth Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Renat. Thank you for sharing that message and definitely sharing your reflections as well. Thank you all to our speakers for your thoughtful insights and commitment. Your reflections remind us the power of collaboration and collective action, and the responsibility we all equally share to place youth at the heart of humanitarian reform. Up next, we will hear from Batul Hamzi. Batul is a youth active member at Global Program with RDFL ActionAid. She will be sharing a message of support alongside with a timely call for humanitarian actors to meaningfully include young people in the reform process. Batul, over to you.
Building on what's already been powerfully said, and as a young woman and a humanitarian actor, speaking today not just from my personal experience, but from the shared realities that echo across our region, from Gaza to Lebanon to Sudan to Egypt to Yemen. What we've heard today is not just a series of stories, it's a collective truth that youth are not waiting for permission to act. We are already responding, organizing, leading, whether it's displacement, conflict, or compound crisis. Young people are the first to show up for their communities despite being the last to be supported. But the reality is different from how we often perceive. Youth, and here I speak for us, the ones working on the front lines, are not passive observers. We are the ones acting, organizing, responding. We launch initiatives from scratch. We share information and provide essential needs. We stand by our communities in times of pain. And of course, we demand our rights. From my experience in my work with women and girls and the humanitarian response, I've seen clearly there is a huge gap between those making decisions and those living the consequences of those decisions. Young people are present on the ground, but absent from the decision-making table. We carry experience but lack support. We take initiative but are treated as if we don't exist. Humanitarian action isn't just about delivering aid. It's about redistributing trust and support before spaces and resources. We also acknowledge and appreciate the commitments shared by UNFPA, UNICEF, OCHA, ActionAid, NRC, Scouts, and KS Relief. And we hope today's event is a start for an intergenerational dialogue where we continue our partnership. So as we reflect on the voices we've just heard, I say this. Ensure funding is accessible, responsive, and reach those who are actually leading the response on the ground. Open up coordination spaces to include youth, not just as advisors, but as decision makers. And of course, protect frontline workers, especially young women who face added challenges of discrimination, violence, and of course, neglect. We're not asking for favors, we're not seeking symbolic inclusion. We know what we're doing, and all we need is a system that sees us for who we are, actors, leaders, and essential partners in the solutions. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Batul. Thank you for sharing that message of support and call to action. Everyone, as we come to the close of today's session, let's all take this with us. Meaningful youth engagement is about recognizing lived experience. It's about recognizing leadership and the urgency of trust. To end on a high note, we will now watch a short video from the World Organization of the Scouts movement, which will show us a glimpse into how young people are shaping humanitarian action around the globe. Over to you, Mni.
في قلب كل أزمة، في كل كارثة، هناك شباب لا يتراجعون.
At the heart of every crisis, in every disaster, there are young people who don't back down.
من غزة إلى صنعاء، من بيروت إلى الخرطوم، الكشافة هم سند شعوبهم.
From Gaza to Sana'a, from Beirut to Khartoum, the scouts are the backbone of their people.
في زمن الأزمات لم يكونوا مجرد متطوعين، كانوا الأمل.
In times of crisis, they were not just volunteers, they were the hope.
حملة سند جمعتنا على هدف واحد، أن نبقى دائماً إلى جانب من يحتاجنا.
The Sanad campaign brought us together for one goal, to always stand by those who need us.
نحن كشافة العرب، نكمل مسيرة الجهود الكشفية العربية والعالمية، وسنظل دائماً السند والعون حيثما دعت الحاجة.
We are the Arab Scouts. We continue the journey of Arab and global scouting efforts, and we will always be the support and aid wherever there is a need.
شارك، تبرع، كن سندا.
شارك، تبرع، كن سندا.
شارك، تبرع، كن سندا.
شارك، تبرع، كن سندا.
And with that, thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for reflecting and hopefully for walking away with a little more resolve to do things differently. So before we finish for the day, we just want one more thing. We want to take a screenshot of our gathering today. So if you could please turn on your cameras. Omni, did we take the picture? Sorry, I can't see the...
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, everyone. This concludes our session for the day. Thank you so much for tuning in and have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.